Good afternoon and welcome to the OOH-RAH Report. I am your host, Anthony Kever, and today we are talking about AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash 2021. This originally should have been the start to AEW's 2021, but of course circumstances had to be pushed back a week, which is completely understandable as last week was the Brody Lee tribute show. But tonight, we start off things hot as we have a 8-man tag match with the Young Bucks and SCU taking on the Acclaimed and the Hybrid 2. This whole storyline has been building up that the Acclaimed and H2, as I will call them, I'm not going to call them the Hybrid 2 the whole time, so H2 and the Acclaimed have been really taking shots at SCU and the Young Bucks as they're the old guard, we're the new guard, and that's been the storyline building up. And once again, this match was phenomenal. If you're watching AEW, you're watching it for great tag team wrestling. They are known for their great tag wrestling, and this is no exception. All 8 guys in the ring have great chemistry together, and they put on a phenomenal show. And you kind of get a little bit of stuff at the end. Is like there's the ending of the match basically is when SCU and the Young Bucks combine their multi-man finishers, and it's just a great finish to the match. And at the end, you get a little bit of a tease for the future of where the division is going to go. And the Young Bucks stand tall, SCU's there, and SCU says the next time we lose a tag match, we will break up, which I am actually kind of excited about because I know Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels can do extremely well on their own, and I like SCU, but I think that them being solo acts will be kind of nice to see, them do their own separate things. And the way the Bucks night ends is that I'm like, okay, so we're going to get a really good SCU versus Young Bucks feud at some point before the inevitable SCU breakup. And I'm excited, especially how the Young Bucks finish the night. So right after that, we get Jon Moxley. And oh boy, he's pissed. He is very upset. He finally gets the opportunity to acknowledge what happened at Winter is Coming, that he was basically, the title was stolen from him. He was screwed out of the AEW World Championship. And he comes out, cuts a scathing promo, and it's so good. Pissed Moxley is the best Moxley. And he basically says, he's like, Ray Phoenix, you've earned your opportunity. You will get your opportunity tonight against Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. But, Kenny, and I quote, win or lose tonight, you are not safe. You will never be safe. Just, yes, I love Moxley. I loved Moxley when he came in and he attacked Omega. We know how good he can be. We know the matches these two can have. And the fact that, we don't really know what was next for Omega, with Don Callis. And I'm so happy that they're not just letting Moxley just go to the next thing. Like, build this up. And it will be so good that you're going to have Moxley and Omega again at some point. And once again, not getting into spoilers because we'll get at that later in this episode. But based on what happens at the end of the show, it should be really fun to see where they go with Moxley. So right after that, we have our next match, which is Jake Hager versus Wardlow. I don't know if it's Warlord or Warlord. There's 2 different pronunciations I've always heard about his name. But, this is an Inner Circle, nice fight, and this is just a big, drawn-out, big boy fight. And it's so good. I love when these type of matches happens, where it's just 2 big dudes just beating the ever-loving hell out of each other, just throwing big, heavy fists at each other. And Warlord wins. And I was kind of surprised, because you're getting, the way the Inner Circle storyline has been going is that, him and MJF, I shouldn't really be surprised, because him and MJF are really getting into control, I want to say, of the Inner Circle. And Jericho's like clueless, and I love that, because I the way I see the storyline going, because later in the night we see MJF go up to Hager and be like, yeah, alright, it's alright, buddy, like, he'll be fine, which, if anybody has ever seen MJF's character in AEW or elsewhere, he is not nice. He's a prick. He's a 100% Long Island prick, and it's great. So to see him be nice to his Inner Circle buddies, I find clever, and I would like to see, I was talking about this immediately after the show went off the air, is that I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to get MJF as the leader of the Inner Circle at some point? And turn everybody against Jericho, and then you can once again have the Jericho and MJF feud that we kind of got before him joining, And it'll actually be like a nice, drawn out, actual heel face dynamic. And face Jericho is also, I would like to see face Jericho in AEW at some point. So that's kind of my way of getting that. But still, good match, and the Inner Circle storytelling is really good, especially next week that they have their New Year's resolutions, which I find really fun. So immediately after that, we get another segment, and this is the weigh-in for the TNT title match, which is next week. And first things first, I'll get this out because I'm a belt guy, and Darby Allin comes out with the self-proclaimed new TNT title, and it is the same design that they've had, but it's on a black strap. And I like it on the black strap. I like it much better on the black strap than I did the red. And I understand why they needed a new one. You know, they basically said the red design, that's the Brody Lee design, and that's going to go to him, which is nice. And we do see that when they cut to a segment from Dark with Brody Lee Jr., and that's really nice to see. But I like the design, and I just kind of hoped, I wish they were going to try something else different with it, but to be honest, I still like the way it came out. I really just like the design. So then you have Darby Allin come out, and he weighs in with Brian Cage. And of course, the weight class is so different. And I'm not really going to talk about the segment, because I already know where this is going. And to be honest, I'm kind of a little sick of where this feud is going. So the whole thing is that they will do the weigh-in, and of course, Brian Cage is a machine. He's massive. And Darby Allin is scrawnier, but he's more agile. So the weight difference is obscene. It's like over 100 pounds. And Darby literally just says, let's just get this over with. And he gets ready to fight. And you know where this is going. Team Taz starts to get ready. And then the lights go out. And the snow starts to fall. And Sting comes out. Team Taz flees. And that's it. I like Sting in AEW. I was excited to see Sting in AEW. But I'm worried that you're really going to drag this out. And you're going to ruin this feud. Because yes, Darby Allin and Brian Cage is going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match next week for the TNT title. I see Darby winning that match and probably prolonging this feud. But I'm getting really tired of the focus being Sting comes out. Sting stands there with Darby. The snow falls. Somebody complains about the snow and we move on. Do something. Like, we know Sting's here for 5 years. Show me what he'll actually be doing. Like, I get it. He can't just tell me he's going to show up every week like this. Maybe next week that'll change. Maybe my prayers will be answered and we can actually see him do something with Darby against Team Taz. But I don't want the feud to be Taz versus Sting. This is Darby Allin versus Brian Cage. I want to see that. And I really do hope that, I know the match is going to deliver, but I hope the storyline delivers. And, we don't just keep getting the same Sting and Taz confrontation every week, because that's going to get stale really fast, and you're already getting stale with it. But I just hope that, I know the match is going to be good, but I really hope the storyline progresses a bit more. So next up is Matt Sydal taking on Cody Rhodes. This, to me, you really don't have to really care about this match. I'm not going to go into detail about it, because it's an okay match. The whole thing is just to plug the Go Big show, which was Thursday on TBS, and they made sure you knew that by heart by the end of the match. And because Snoop Dogg's there, and Snoop Dogg does a frog splash, that's the only really thing to take note of from this. And he botches it, which I find hilarious, but you get it, and it's a promotional tie-in, and you're okay with it. And then right after that, you get the women's title match. It is Haroshida versus Abaddon. I have a gripe with this match. I have a gripe with this storyline. And it's kind of the same thing with the Brian Cage Darby Allin story. And I like Abaddon. I liked her when you started to get her, because she's one of those characters that the women's division AEW really needs right now. Because their women's division has been extremely lacking. And I really do think you need more characters in it. Like, you started to get that with Chris Statlander a little bit earlier in 2020, but now you need more. And I think Abaddon would be a really good fit. But I think you fizzled this out already. Because the match is good. It's an okay match. And for a women's title match on this supposedly big first show of the year, it didn't really deliver, in my opinion. The match was okay, but you start off the match hot and fast. There's a lot of brawling, and then you go, and then Abaddon takes Haroshida and drags her out of the ring. She comes out with a bloody neck. Okay, when you're gonna do a biting gimmick, and you're gonna go for the jugular every single time, that needs to be the finish of your match, because you can't just have that and the referee's like, okay, you can go for another 20 minutes, and no, if somebody's going to get bit in the jugular, that's the end of the match. So I think you kind of ruined that mystique of Abaddon a little bit, and I would really like to see them build her up more as a monster rather than just a creepy person. Because that's what she is. She's a creepy person that Shida was scared of, and Shida wins. Yay. I really want to see more character development in the women's division, and I think Abaddon's a good place to start. I hope this isn't the end of her, because she did lose to Shida in the title match, but I really just hope that they can build her a little bit more, and we can get a better match and feud from these two, because you can do it. It's just a matter of you need to give her something else to do besides, I'm going to bite your neck, and then I'm going to have a regular match with you. It doesn't work to me. So that needs to be fixed very normal. Like, you can't just have a normal finish to a match after somebody bites you. It just doesn't make sense to me. So right after that, we get the main event. And yeah, the main event is the main event. It's Rey Fenix versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. And it's a great match. It's everything you expect from these two guys and more. It's a solid match, and the thing that leaves you talking is not what happens in the match, but what happens after the match. So the match goes on as scheduled. There's no really crazy shenanigans. Don Callis is at ringside, which is always important when he's with Kenny. And the match goes on. One Winged Angel, 1, 2, 3, finished. Then, after that, Don Callis is like, you're not going to have your friends here. Shows on the big screen that Pac and Pentagon are being laid out by Eddie Kingston, setting up their match for next week, which is good. I like the fact that they're blending in that storytelling and having Don Callis pay them off. That's a really cool moment. I like that. And then Rey Fenix is there, but who comes out? Jon Moxley with a barbed wire baseball bat. He's about to beat the piss out of Kenny Omega, until two masked hooded men jump over the barricade and into the ring. It's the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call them, has invaded AEW on a wrestling level. And this is what I wanted from day one of Kenny Omega siding with Don Callis and saying they were going to Impact. We are going to get jumps from shows. It's going to be an invasion. God, I hope it is. Because the way that this ended up, it's going to be amazing. So, the numbers game beats on Moxley. You have Gallows and Anderson and Kenny Omega beating you, the TNA World Tag Team Champs. And this goes on for a while, that they just start hammering. But Moxley's not giving up. Of course, it's Moxley. He's not going to give up. And then the Young Bucks come out. And the Young Bucks are easily just like, all right, dude, chill. They're holding back some guys that jumped over the barricade, like the normal wrestlers that sit outside the ring. They were getting laid out, and they just like, yo, Kenny, Gallows, Anderson, stop. This is fun. Don't do this. And then they super kick Jon Moxley. And they stand in the ring. And oh, it is too sweet. And all of them stand there. And they can't say it's too sweet, copyright reasons. But they all put the signal up. And they all do it. And you fade to black. Bullet Club, for the first time since ROH, has come to the United States again. And I am excited. As a person who really enjoyed Bullet Club in New Japan, and who was really excited to see if they did it in WWE, and was excited to see what Marty Scurll did with it in ROH, you're going to give, if AEW does the right thing, and I think they will, this is going to print money, and I am all for it. You bring the Bullet Club, Omega, Gallows, Anderson, the Bucks into AEW. It's just going to be so great. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's going to be fun. And I think this was the best way you could have started off 2020 if you're AEW. Yes, I'll be honest. The show wasn't 100% solid. There's the Brian Cage and Darby Allin stuff. That's starting to get on my nerves. The women's title match wasn't great, but the opener was solid. It set up the Young Bucks as possibly maybe turning heel somewhere down the road. And at the end of the night, they locked it in, and you have the heel Young Bucks, which is great. And then on top of that, you have Omega, Gallows, and Anderson all on the same page, which if you've watched Impact, you know that's happening. But now, it's on Wednesday night, and now they keep every time they think that you're going to lose them a little bit, they drag you right back in, and they want you to watch next week, which is what good wrestling should be. So, to be honest, I'm excited. I'm very happy to watch what happens next week, whether it's on Tuesday on Impact or Wednesday on Dynamite. But all I know is that Bullet Club is back, baby. And oh boy, it's going to be fun. So, that was AEW Dynamite, the New Year's Smash Night 1. We will get you to Night 2 next week. And if you have anything to say, whether it's about the Bullet Club, about Darby Allin, about the Women's Championship match, about anything AEW, did you enjoy the show? Did you hate the show? Let me know down in the comments below. And hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. They go a long way. I'm Anthony Cavaretta, and I will see you all next time.